Hello, what is up everyone? It is I, the one and only Ray the Flying Squirrel here, and I am back for some more of yet again for the likes of the Maxi Toys videos. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for some more of Let's Play of Klonoa 2, Lunatea's Veil for the PlayStation 2. Now I will have to admit though right away, I apologize with that particular delay for this particular continuation of this Let's Play, but I'll discuss more on that as soon as we're able to get this thing started. So either way though, yeah, last time I believe we have managed to able to win through the majority of the amusement park world, which is actually represented with Joland and stuff like that. So as a result, we managed to bid on to the forms of the fun park, along with the plaza and the jungle slider, and also we got ourselves our second element. So yeah, today for this episode is the fact that we are moving on to the next environment, which I think it usually takes place in, I would say Volk City or something like that. So as a result though, well technically we've already experienced, you know, Volk Hall. But for this point, we were expecting that we can able to actually do on to Volk City. But I think we might as well tackle through Underground Factory first, because, well, I just feel like just trying to do all that stuff. So without further ado, let's get this thing to it on the forms of this level, Underground Factory. So, and this is obviously going to take place somewhere in the city. So yeah, this should be interesting and fun, because as a result, that's, well, yeah, just have some fun, really. So, not much else to say, because, well, it's pretty obvious because of how the fact that, well, we can finally get back into this. And, there's a couple of reasons why that, we do apologize for that specific delay for this Let's Play itself. But, very much like the forms of how it does it on Moonlight Museum back in, last year. But this time around, though, is completely different from one another, because as a result, plannings to do for several other video projects that we're constantly doing, and also that you noticed on last Friday that we actually did ourselves the updated version of our video game collection video, because obviously we just wanted to let you guys about the forms of specific, you know, the updated version of that specific video that we want to show you guys for that. So as a result though, that well, there's not much else to say, because we obviously managed to make the quality a little bit more nicer this time around, and also the actual audio itself is actually a little bit more better this time around compared to the forms of how it does it back in 2016 for its, you know, outdated video now, because as a result, that, you know, the voice back then is actually muffled up. So yeah, you get the idea about that. So we just want to get that out of the way. And also, though, we consider trying to able to think about the forms of specific plannings for video uploading schedules later down the road, for the sake of the forms of the majority of this month in November, along with the forms of next month, which is December. So as a result, though, that, although kind of think about it, though, is the fact that Jewel, she's almost going to be wrap things up with Mario Party 6, although she only got about 3 stuff to do for this point, or 3 stuff remaining. So as a result though, stay tuned until specifically in this weekend, or some cases, next weekend or something. Well, if depending on time, that's the only thing. And once we finish up with Mario Party 6, then obviously we will take a break on the Mario Party Let's Plays from now on until specifically at the beginning of next year, because obviously we haven't done another Mario Kart game for quite some time, even though we've almost done with the rest of the series of the Mario Kart series. It's just only the fact that we've only got 1 left. Well, technically there's other 2, but honestly I think Mario Kart Tour just managed to give up on me. And also, well, technically there's the other ones there too, like Mario Kart Arcade GP DX, which I was expecting to try to able to play that, but of course it actually requires the highly advanced PC and stuff like that, and plus as far as I'm aware, that the majority of the emulator is actually going to be in Japanese voices and stuff like that, ranging from Pac-Man's voice or something, but who knows what it is. And also applies to Mario Kart's live home circuit as well, but I still don't have it because of how the fact that it gets a bit pricey every now and then for the sake of that particular, well, the accessory itself. Well, technically speaking, with the actual RC car itself, ranging from either Mario or Luigi. And it's kind of a shame it doesn't able to actually add in new playable characters to the table, because all he gets is just only 2 playable characters, which is both Mario and Luigi, because obviously trying to replicating the forms of the 35th anniversary of the Super Mario Bros. Series and stuff like that. Well, it's kind of hard to say honestly, because I know it has been such a long while since I actually done some more of those, you know, videos like this before, because obviously that I was been busy doing stuff, and also been practicing playing through Mario Party Superstars again by playing online play again, play again. So yeah, I do apologize with the actual tongue twisting in the end, folks, because again, there's not much else to say. Although, apart from the fact that we can able to discuss upon quite a number of things until eventually during this point today. Because obviously today's day is of course the 8th of November today, in this case in 2021 today, and it looks like that yesterday that Sonic Forces has recently become 4 years old, which again, despite the fact that most people seem to find that game a little bit mixed reception, especially noticeable there might be some good parts here and there, but also some really questionable choices, ranging from classic Sonic's stiffest control method and stuff like that. And also the story, well, it's interesting at first, but it just feels a bit, I don't know, rushed for the sake of the actual storytelling. But either way though, it's kind of hard to say honestly, because I know it has been quite a few days since I actually did manage to play Sonic Forces on my own time, especially because of how the fact that, you know, recently I've been playing something else, you know, with Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania, along with the forms of, you know, Mario Party Superstars, and that's pretty much about it. So, yeah, let's get to the main treatment of this discussion at this point today, and that is the fact that, well, let's get into the forms of the most unfortunate thing during the course of later on throughout the whole month, and that is the fact that something to do with the game that usually came out on the 3DS called Metal Gear Solid 3D Snake Eater. Now, the reason why I'm saying this is because unfortunately though, that Nintendo decided to able to delist the actual game on the eShop version specifically, and as a result though, that you can no longer get the game digitally, although you can still get it physically, still on second hand, but for digital downloads, unfortunately that particular game is now delisted on the forms of the Nintendo eShop app. So, yeah, it seems kind of a bummer, especially noticeable about the fact that, wow, for those of you really do care about the forms of digital download stuff, then, you know, unfortunately things happen, you know? But yeah, that's kind of unfortunate, but you know, it's just the fact that it just feels a bit stingy every once in a while with all these delisting and stuff like that. So, and also very similar to Klonoa Door to Phantom Isle, we ended up on the forms of the actual with that particular horizontal platform that we can hop onto, and you can able to actually just you know, just try to dodge through everything from up ahead. So, hey. Oh, here's Tat again. Uh-oh. What are you doing here? What am I? Huh? What is it to you? You're up to no good again, aren't you? Well... Anywho, come and get me. So yeah, it's time to able to do and play Whack-A-Tat, or should I say equivalent to Whack-A-Mole, because, well, I think it's about time to able to actually kick her butt. So basically, we have to use the enemies to able to send any of those tats they pop up from the actual holes themselves. You know, just like in forms of how it does it on Whack-A-Mole kind of style. And also that does reminds me of also, for the sake of the Hedgehog Camo sub-game in Sonic Adventure, but only Amy can able to actually play it because she was the only one to use a hammer with. So again, it doesn't matter what tat faces you're able to attack. So as a result though, the only thing you need to keep an eye on for, and especially noticeable you have to be careful about, is that projectile that she constantly is trying to using and such. So yeah, when you get the hang of it though, after a multitude of hits on her, then, well, she's done. Ooh! Hey! You don't play nice. Whatever make of that? And I believe we're about to be able to still continue on with the level, so we still ended up on that particular propeller platform. So I think we've almost nearly at the end of this level. It's just the fact that every now and then that, you know, most of these levels every now and then is going to get much longer. So at least I don't mind about the forms of the length itself. It's just a matter of the fact that if you're trying to, you know, obtain something, you know, with the forms of those particular doll pieces and stuff like that, well, chances are that you might able to actually just try to keep on searching for that stuff, so. Oh yeah, and another thing I want to explain, and that is the fact that, well, recently, good news for the likes of the Nintendo Switch owners and stuff like that. Recently, that the Nintendo Switch has been now sold, you know, significantly well, and especially noticeable that we'll get to the actual system units later, but as a result though, as far as the software lineup as far as I'm concerned, that, oh man, there's a massive update for that particular, well, the actual, the sales records at the moment, such as, for instance, well, let's get into the forms of the top 10 best-selling, software games for the Nintendo Switch at the moment, although the actual listing is pretty much unchanged, apart from the actual sales numbers. So as a result, though, let's start from the top, and that is, of course, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is still on top within first place, and, well, usually, relatively speaking, at the moment, that game has been now sold for about 38.74 million copies sold. And what's interesting is the fact that they actually did manage to beat the actual sales numbers compared to the forms of Mario Kart Wii. And, because usually in Mario Kart Wii, like back in the day, that used to be one of the best-selling Mario Kart games of all time, because obviously that was on the Wii, and also because it actually comes in with Wii Wheel accessory, so that way you can able to get used to with the easy driving skills and stuff like that. Well, usually it's part of the controller peripheral and stuff like that, but regardless of such, it does feel quite unique back then, so actually, I'll get into more details about this in a moment later, because, well, as soon as we enter this door, then this is the end of the level, basically. And I think we've stumbled across one of those reactors, so this is it. Well, let's go shut it down. And exponentially, one of those reactors will shut down. This should do it. The one on the surface is next. So that means next up we'll head on to Volk City. So because of that though, we can able to actually shut down another one of those reactors. So anyway, so let's go and save our game here, even though despite I still need able to grind some more extra lives, I have to keep on losing some of them from the likes of well, ever since on the second world, but hopefully we'll get more eventually, but we'll just see what happens there. So anyways, Volk City, here we go. Or Volk City, whatever, depending on that pronunciation errors I was gonna on about. But anyway, let's get into the actual continuation of this discussion for this point, and that is the sales numbers for certain Switch games. And yeah, I already mentioned about the forms of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. That's, well, that is now becoming the best-selling Mario Kart games ever for the sake of the actual sales numbers. Mind you, the Wii U version doesn't count because, well, I think personally speaking, because the only reason why the Switch version of Mario Kart 8 is doing so well compared to the Wii U because of the much more improved the battle mode and all the other jazz. So that probably explains it and speaks for itself. And second place still goes to Animal Crossing New Horizons, which is usually it's now 34.85 million copies sold. Could mention about the fact that, oh yeah, during the course of Friday actually, that I believe that I think relatively speaking is the fact that with Animal Crossing New Horizons, Happy Home Paradise expansion DLC is now being released just today for digital pricing and stuff like that, but there's also the one on the forms of the expansion pack for the actual Switch Online membership service, but usually they managed able to get the ridiculously overpriced price tag. Although, I believe if I recall correctly, they somehow managed to get a backlash recently for the sake of the forms of the price tag from the likes of the forms of the expansion pack plus. They're able to actually realize about the fact that everyone complains that it's way too overpriced, and also, as far as I'm aware, they still come across into, well, some emulation problems for the Nintendo 64 games, most likely. Not the Mega Drive one, though, because it runs perfectly, because it's all sprite-based and everything. But as far as N64 games are concerned, they need a lot of improvements over once in a while. Such as, for instance, needs to fix some graphical oddities that usually in the one in the forms have been, I would say in the Water Temple, for example, in The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time on the N64, there's actually that particular graphical error that normally, in the original cartridge version, along with the Wii Virtual Console version, along with the Wii U Virtual Console as well, they get us like a cool reflection. Whilst in the Switch Online membership service, they somehow removed that and then to somehow change it into water particle effects or something like that, which it doesn't feel that quite the same. So, yeah, they definitely need to be able to fix that eventually, but who knows though? Who knows? And speaking of the Nintendo 64, is that Super Mario 3D All-Stars out of nowhere received another update, which, yeah, I wasn't expecting that, because obviously that, well, remember back in the forms of been a year ago that usually we got ourselves the GameCube controller support, most notably for Super Mario Sunshine only, for 3D All-Stars, and also fixes a lot of bugs and glitches for, you know, specifically with Super Mario Sunshine emulation and stuff like that, which thankfully it's a lot more flawless now, despite no, you know, with the actual life-changing improvements and stuff like that. Well, at least as far as I'm certainty for that stuff, even though it has been such a long while since I actually discussed on something like that, so forgive me if I botched it. So, yeah, let's get to the forms that the actual new update they actually revealed for Super Mario 3D All-Stars recently, and that is the N64 controller, specifically the wireless version for the Switch only, that it's now being supported for Super Mario 3D All-Stars. Well, only for Super Mario 64 only, because most people seem to be able to stumble across the actual, well, controls confusion for a moment, because as far as I'm aware, the N64 controller, the wireless version on the Switch, that usually does not able to actually have the X and Y buttons. So, yeah, this is pretty cool to able to actually now support the N64 controller for Super Mario 64 on 3D All-Stars compilation. So I believe the only thing it needs left now is the Wii Remote and a nunchuck combo. Ah, dang it! I somehow missed that particular piece, but oh well, we'll have to go all the way back here again. So thankfully it's not too far, I don't think though. But anyway, we'll just continue things on here. So yeah, the only thing it needs left now is the Wii Remote and a nunchuck combo for, well, Super Mario Galaxy. Well, I don't think it's that necessary, personally speaking, because we already got the Joy-Cons, which I'm pretty sure it functions the same way as Wii Remote and nunchuck. At least, thankfully, there's no wired cable and stuff like that able to actually go with that. So, unlike the Wii Remote and nunchuck, that usually you have to rely on the forms of the actual strong connection with the actual wired, you know, nunchuck and stuff like that. But either way, though, it might be something worth knowing for. And I suppose another thing I should probably explain about this as well. Thank you. So anyway, another thing I worth classify for noticing this from the start, though, is the fact that actually, I must be honest here, there's not much else we can talk about, apart from the fact that, well, oh yeah, let's get to the forms of the continuation of other games they actually got best wish, or the best selling units, as far as I'm concerned. Third place goes to Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, which is now on to 25.71 million copies sold, which is impressive because that was considerably the best-selling Smash Bros. Game ever, which is probably cool and awesome at the same time. Although, whenever we get into the forms of December, when it comes to the forms of the sale track records, mind you, it won't be happening until specifically on February next year, I'm pretty sure. That's basically, since that store was now onto Smash Bros. Ultimate, I was assuming that Super Smash Bros. Ultimate will continue to sell even more, which is especially true because the Switch is doing super well, even compared to the forms of how it does it on Smash for the 3DS or the Wii U. That sadly those two games combined that usually don't sell that much though. I'm no idea why, although my guess is the fact that with the forms of the Wii U's case is the fact that usually the Wii U doesn't sell that much units because, well, that miserable failure that is, so. And the next game, it was on 4th place for the best-selling games records at the moment, is The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, and it's usually sold for about 24.13 million copies sold, and Pokemon Sword and Shield is on 22.64 million copies sold, and Super Mario Odyssey was on 21.95 million copies sold, so that's actually super impressive. And Super Mario Party was actually on 16.49 million copies sold. Well, I could imagine about the fact that Mario Party Superstars will be added to the list at some point in the future. Well, to be more specifically, when it gets to a point until, you know, December at the end of this year, specifically, according to the actual records, the sales records and stuff like that in the future. But we can't find out right now because obviously that we're still on November at the moment. So we'll also have to wait and see. So, and of course, next up is Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee combined. I think it's like 13.83 million copies sold, if I recall. So, yeah, that's something worth knowing for. Splatoon 2 was actually on 12.68 million copies sold, so that's actually pretty good. And Ring Fit Adventure was on 12.21 million copies sold. And New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, I think it was on 11.48 million copies sold. And Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury. Dang it! I completely forgot. If I dare touch the forms of that particular fire truck, that's basically I'll instantly die. So, whoops. So anyway. Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury just managed to get a massive update for the sale records, which is now sold for 7.45 million copies sold. So that's actually pretty impressive, all things considered. Oh, I'll talk more details about this until later on, because as soon as we hit onto the train, like we just did right there, and hop into the train station, well, I believe the end of the level's just right there, so yeah, that's it really. This is it. Here's another reactor. I'd say we're at the right place. Well, let's shut it down then. And there goes the reactor. This should do it. Alright, back to the Bell of Discord. So hopefully we're able to try to, you know, see the Bell of Discord. Well, at least for the most part anyway. So yeah, let's save our game. And yeah, it feels like we've almost at the halfway point of the game, folks. Although, sure, some of these levels, again, like I said earlier, it might actually get a little bit more lengthy. So, either way, though, let's head back into that particular spot over there, which will able to lead us back into Volk Hall. So, either way, though, we can able to see what's in there now. So, yeah. We're in luck. Lunatea aren't here. Let's grab that fake ring and the element. Oh my god. Is it an enemy? Uh-oh. It's a Volkan guard bot. So we know what to do. We need to take down the mobile tank Biskarsh, which I do apologize for that mispronunciation of that name, by the way. So anyway, this boss is pretty easy when you get the hang of it. So you have to use one of those enemies as projectiles again, and accept the fact that we have to deal with a bit of a double jump skill syndrome, and basically that way it deals the damage on him. So the only way you can deal with him is the fact that you have to attack its head all the way up to the top, as you can tell. Because if you try to throw it right in front of him, I believe it won't do that much damage because, well, he was completely like, you know, off, he was in defense mode or something like that. Well, not so much offense or something like that. Well, mind you, because it has been a while since I've actually done some of the commentaries of this, so... But of course, it's not done yet, because we're now on to the second phase, where he's now on the, oh gosh, some tires! Oh, I mean, gosh, what is this, like Toy Story all over again, when Woody almost got ran over by the forms of that huge truck? During the forms of the Dinoco, petrol station and stuff? Maybe I'm just making it up in my mind, so... Anyway, speaking of the forms of Toy Story related, although despite the fact that it might not actually be Toy Story 5 for the later years, because for what I've seen in new film trailer or the teaser trailer of Lightyear, it's actually pretty interesting, all things considered. Although, mind you, the actual voice talent they go for this time around is sadly no Tim Allen though, sadly. Or rather, be more accurately, Chris Evans, who also did the voice of Captain America from the Avengers films. So, yeah, it should be interesting, and well, I just can't wait to see how that film's gonna turn out until next year, so... Oh, well done. Huh? Those reactors you shut down were merely declares. This fight was all I needed from you, really. Thanks to you, I have everything that I needed. What? A ring? A fake ring? What are you up to, Loriana? What am I up to? Isn't it obvious? Oh no, she actually activates the Bell of Discord. And she got the element. The element! But why? What the? Ah, there go the reactors. Surely an inevitable outcome, given our haste. Who cares? Volk was destroying itself anyway. Loriana, give the element back! Go home now, little girl. I will save your precious world. Yep, she did the actual laugh. Evil laugh. Uh-oh! Lolo! Klonoa! We've got to go after Loriana. No. This isn't right. We have to shut down the reactors. Great time to grow the consequence. Klonoa. Let's do it. In fact, kind of think about it, with this scene alone, it does almost reminds me of that particular scene in Sonic and the Secret Rings, that every time whenever we manage to accomplish something, but then we realize that well, the world itself is not over yet. Although, unlike in Sonic and the Secret Rings, that we have to hurry up to the exit before the actual bomb is about to explode. Whilst in here, though, we immediately actually access to another level, which was, Volkan Inferno. So, in this case, though, it's more accurately another version of Volk City, except the fact that rather than just becoming more accurately like fresh and all that stuff, whilst in here it's now volcanically and stuff like that. Well, at least as far as I'm concerning with that stuff. So yeah, let's begin on this level right here. So yeah, let's just go ahead and use those little things there. So, and hopefully we're able to be careful. Ah, dang it. Ah, dang it. I just got trapped. Okay, there we go. So anyway, and yeah, I believe that there is also new Pokemon Snap, which I think it was actually now on to 2.19 million copies sold so far, which is quite good. Even though for some reason they don't seem to able to include the sales numbers for Japan, strangely enough, which I absolutely have no idea why they didn't seem to able to count the Japanese sales numbers for that part right there, but it knows what it is. And Miitopia was on 1.37 million copies sold, which is alright, but nowhere near as much as the forms of the actual amazing titles out there, but that's just me. And Mario Golf Super Rush just managed able to upgrade the actual sales numbers quite a little, which appears to be 1.94 million copies sold. And finally, the newest one in the lineup where it comes to sales numbers on the list, and that is The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD, which somehow the game is sold for about 3.60 million copies sold so far, which is pretty good, especially noticeable that I'm pretty sure that particular sales numbers for Zelda Skyward Sword HD, I think it did manage to beat the forms of the original Wii version's numbers for a long shot now. Which is probably true because, well, I just have no idea. They somehow managed able to get a massive improvement with those sales numbers. Couldn't imagine if it'll go up continuously later down the road, specifically when it gets to the point until at the very end of the year. Well, again, not until whenever we get into the forms of, well, to be more specifically, when it gets to February next year, whenever we found out the actual sales records for that specific track line. So, anyways, let's continue our progressioning there, and oh my god. Wait a second. Isn't that the same robot as we've already come across into? It's still alive? Huh? I got a really bad feeling about this. Run for it! So yes, in addition to able to come across into dangerous fires, which... What? How the hell? Did I clip through that? Okay, I wasn't expecting this, but okay, I have no idea what I was supposed to say about this right yet, but holy crap, that is so weird. So anyways, yeah, this particular section here on the outside portion of this level, as you can tell, sometimes we getting chased by the forms of that familiar robot ever since in that particular boss fight. So, however, you can't deal with him, sadly, because, well, as you can tell, taking notice from the likes of Stardust Speedway level for the sake of Act 3 in Sonic CD, that he goes himself the actual laser behind us. And just like in the forms of how it does it on Sonic CD, I believe if you somehow get attacked by the forms of the laser, or specifically his flames that he's causing, that you instantly die. So yeah, it's kind of similar, except it doesn't seem to able to actually take place in the future or the bad future and stuff like that. So anyway, and yeah, let's get to the forms of the final point for the actual Switch sales records, and that is the units itself. Like, I believe this Nintendo Switch is now being sold for 92.87 million units sold. So yeah, that's almost 100. So it's almost catching up to the forms of the the Wii sales numbers or the PlayStation 2 sales numbers, although usually relatively speaking, hopefully they're able to actually add in more sales numbers because thanks to the informs of the release of the Nintendo Switch OLED model recently during informs of about a month ago right now, so as a result, could imagine if the actual thing will sell like crazy and stuff like that. So yeah, that seems pretty incredible, all things considered, what the Switch is actually doing super well for the actual sales numbers, like I said earlier, so yeah, anyway, let's just go ahead and try to keep on going up, despite the fact that my wind bullet doesn't seem to able to hit that particular enemy on the exact correct angle right there, but hopefully we would try to get it. Okay, there we go. And we should blast it off, and hopefully we would, thankfully there's no collectible up in the sky somewhere, so that'll be later on, so alright, so let's hop onto this little spring-like, Sonic the Hedgehog spring-like stuff we're able to bounce onto, so in fact you can able to do a bit of a timing jump going on there, so at least depending on what specific timing you go for, that's basically sometimes you can either just bounce you a little or just bouncing a bit higher until you press the jump button at the right time. So alright, let's activate the checkpoint clock just in case if we don't lose our progressioning there. So alright, let's blast off again, just on that hole over there. And we'll get ourselves another extra life, so how's that for that? And another checkpoint just right there. And of course he will be still showing up, so let's make a run for it. But yeah, there's not much else we can talk about because obviously aside from the fact that with the Switch sale numbers that I somehow mentioned this earlier, so yeah, that's nothing right to home about. So, and until eventually, until at some point for the majority of this month, that's although originally that really? Dang it, I just died. Oh well, at least we got the checkpoint just right there, so what? Okay, I have no idea, but for some reason my TV just somewhat blinks out for a moment. Oh jeez, that was so dumb. And yeah, it's just kind of annoying and inconsistent sometimes with my Samsung TV sometimes. Thankfully on my capture device, it doesn't seem to get any harm to it at all. It's just that sometimes my TV just always blacks out every time whenever we're able to load on something. Ranging from the level select screen, or the loading screens in general, or every time if I die, or especially noticeable if I was trying to go on to the next section of the level. So yeah, it's a bit annoying and inconsistent with all that my TV just always blinks out. So yeah, it's kind of annoying, so looks like he's trying to wait for us right there, so alright, so I just have to concentrate here. Oh no, this is one of the hardest pieces to able to get in this point, so yeah, I think I'm gonna get screwed. Yep, I screwed. Alright, so let's go ahead and try this again, and oh, so close. Okay, at least I got. Oh, alright, hopefully we have to just. Oh my god, I hate this freaking piece because finally. Okay, now I've got that piece out of the way. Let's go and get the last piece somewhere nearly like at the very end of the level or something. So yeah, I was have to able to just, not to mention about the fact that sometimes in addition to trying to able to just, well, trying to get away with that particular robot, but also that you can't be too slow, because otherwise if you go too slow on certain spots, then obviously you will able to keep on wasting lives very fast. So it's something worth classifying for noticing that, so oh god, this is why we have to jump at the right time by using those springs there, but thankfully those spring pads seem to able to. Oh wait a second, it's the fact that I just realized something. The reason why I accidentally died from that particular clip for the spring is that apparently that unlike in Well, I think it kind of does a similar thing for the classic Sonic games, I'm pretty sure. That if you somehow manage to able to go, like, somewhat barely touch the actual spring on ground, that, apparently that, well, rather than just trying to make it, like, although it's kind of hard to say, honestly, because I know it has been such a long while since I actually mentioned something related to this. But either way, though, it feels like we've almost done with the level, so... And I believe this might actually be the last part of the level, because unlike the normal Volk City, that we have to specifically try to able to get onto the train itself. Whilst in here, though, well, basically the robot is still chasing us, and... uh-oh, there's a train! So Klonoa just got an idea by, well, trying to hang on to the underneath the bridge and stuff like that to make him safer. So, yeah, that does seem like a cool action-packed move there. And somehow the robot and the train both got destroyed. This is all automated too, so you don't have to press anything or just tilt the control stick or something like that, or the analog stick, So we made it back onto the exact same reactor again, so... And thankfully we can able to switch this off again, so... And that should sort it, so... Whew! Looks like we just barely made it in time. That was too close to comfort. Did you notice no one bothered to come and shut it down? Those idiots only think about fighting and nothing else. All they do is play in Joland while they only fight in Volk. When you think about it, they all kind of strange. Tell me about it. But a prince's power is necessary for the ring to function, so how did Lunatea? I guess we'll try to figure this out, Lolo, for, that what she was planning for all this time. So, anyways, let's save our game here. Despite the fact that I just keep on wasting a lot of extra lives, I think I'm actually going to be blaming on that 5th star piece, if I recall, because that is by far the hardest one to get. Because obviously you can't afford able to mess that one up multiple times, because obviously if you messed up so many times, then obviously you're not gonna get it, so... Anyway, so now we're done with that, and yeah, I'm guessing that, let me double check on the actual, the status quickly, so I think that... Well, so far we actually collected about 7 dolls so far. Oh yeah, there's something worth mentioning though, is that certain levels do have alternative levels. So, at least you can able to replay those again. So, at least, thankfully, you can able to have that option to do so. Anyways, let's head back into this island again. So, Lorena. I thought only a princess could wield the ring. We may have understated her. Or underestimated her, I should say. Then we better hurry to the next element. No. The Bell of Indecision lies in a xenophobic land of Maori Maori, where strangers are not welcome. Even Lunatea will be hard-pressed to get near it. Then how are we supposed to get there? Mia Mia borders the Lake of Solution, or Seclusion, where an ancient ark rests. It is said that this ark once traveled not only to Maya Maya, but all around the world. Perhaps you can use the ark to get across the Lake of Seclusion. That is, if the ark still works. An ark which traveled around the world? Once, when the world was in harmony, people moved freely between the kingdoms. You're kidding me. I don't believe it. Yes, well, the kingdoms are so isolated now. Why don't we just go? No use just standing here and talking. You're right. After all, I can't let Rorina save the world. Huh? What do you mean? We are going to save the world. That don't seem quite right. And whatever. Let's get going. Dream Traveler. Oh, looks like he stands up. Your future remains veiled to me. And yeah, that's all there is to it. Although we can able to now actually access this next level, which should be just around over there. So yeah, I think suffice to tell you for this point, we got the endings of this point right here. So join me next time for more of Let's Play of Klonoa 2, Lunatea's Veil. That is the fact that we're heading over to Irusher's Ark. I do apologize for that, so I'll see you guys on Wednesday. Later, fellas.